What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another live stream here on the Jacob Game Time Voice YouTube channel. Hope everybody's doing good and enjoying themselves. Some of you might be wondering, Mike, what the heck are you doing live streaming a playoff game between the Carolina Hurricanes and the Montreal Canadiens? Well, the truth is, I was in dire need of wanting to do a live stream. And honestly, anything I can do to not have to live stream the Red Sox is a chance I will absolutely take. So we are here for that. So I want to thank you guys all for joining me here on the Game Time Voice YouTube channel. And hopefully, playoff hockey is something that we can all enjoy, no matter who is playing. And the reason why I actually chose this game, if it were really up to me, I would be live streaming the games out west between the Colorado Avalanche and the Vegas Golden Knights. But they decide that an 8 o'clock start time is the best out west. And to be honest, I don't really feel like staying up that late. So a nice, I think it's probably going to be a 7:15 puck drop on the East Coast is something that excites me a little bit more. So we are here, but don't worry, this is just going to be me hopefully just watching a good hockey game, which is kind of weird, broadcasting a game on here for the first time with two teams that I have no rooting interest, and to be honest, on the facet of one of them, kind of hope they don't do well, but we'll see how that goes. But again, I want to thank all of you guys, and hopefully you guys are enjoying this just as much as I am. And if you have not done so already, make sure you guys are sharing this and make your voices known in the chat. We can enjoy this Eastern Conference Final Game 2 together. And another reason why that we are streaming this game is because I put out a poll on my personal Instagram page, not the Game Time Voice Instagram page, which, by the way, if you've not done so already, I know you guys have subscribed. Most of you guys are here because you subscribed. Which, by the way, we are up to, at the moment, I believe it's 63 subscribers. We're almost 3/4 of the way to 100. We're trying to get to 100 by the end of 2026. So hopefully you guys can do that. But if you have not done so already, go up and look up Game Time Voice, all one word, GameTimeVoice, Game Time Voice on Instagram. And we can start putting polls up there. This game won a poll against the Vegas Golden Knights and the Colorado Avalanche game 2. So that is why we are doing this one. Also, at some point in between intermissions, 7:30, I believe, is the start time for this. We'll also be double dipping and looking at the New England Revolution. We're off to a pretty good start this season, have their last game before the World Cup break. So we will double check that game as well. I also want to say, let me see if I want to figure something out here because just want to double check something real quick. Okay. Let me see what we can figure out here. All right. Something was going on with everything, but I figured out an easy way to handle it. Because I can hear... Well, actually, no. Now I figured it out. Okay. I'm still getting used to live streaming, guys, so it's an interesting sort of concept. While we are getting ready and while pregame festivities are going on, I want to double check something. Get you guys some stats, because for those of you who have not been paying attention to everything else outside of the New England sports scene, I saw a stat the other day that it's honestly mind-boggling. The Carolina Hurricanes have played in, this will be their 19th game coming up in the conference finals. 19. They are currently 1-18. No, I did my math wrong. This will be their 19th. They're currently 1-17 in the previous 18 games in the conference finals. That is outlandish, to be honest with you. So, and I'm also looking up, and I want to see if I can find a stat here for you guys, because I'm often looking at some very, very interesting people on ESPN, which I still don't understand how ESPN got the rights to hockey, because anytime you put on ESPN they're talking hockey, it bothers me to no end whatsoever. But if you are like me, and I know some of you who are watching this live stream are this case as well, you enjoy college hockey maybe just as much, if not a little bit more, than the pros. So you're probably wondering about a lot of these players. Well, at a quick glance, 5 players from the Carolina Hurricanes active roster played college hockey. Jackson Blake went to the University of North Dakota. Mike Riley, who is not dressed tonight, but Jackson Blake is. Jackson Blake will be, if I can look at this, Jackson Blake is a forward, so let me see if I can find him. Yet number 53, Jackson Blake, played at the University of North Dakota. Mark Jankowski, number 77, he is a local guy, played for the Providence College Friars. Mike Riley, a defenseman, like I said, who is not dressed tonight, he played for the Golden Gophers of Minnesota. Jacob Slavin, number 74 on defense, who also won a gold medal for the U.S. national team, played at Colorado College. And then Sean Walker. Quick look at my roster. Number 26, Sean Walker, played at Bowling Green University. So those are the players for the Carolina Hurricanes that played college hockey. Meanwhile, taking a look at the Canadiens, I think there are a lot more than this. I'm going to double check this number. But there are 4 Montreal Canadiens who played college hockey. Of course, Cole Caulfield, number 13, played for the University of Wisconsin, where he was a Hobey Baker Award winner. And the rest of them, all local guys to Boston. Alex Newhook played 2 seasons at BC, 19-21. Jaden Struble, 19-22, played 3 seasons for the Doghouse at Northeastern University. And, of course, Lane Hudson, the former BU Terrier. So, a host of college hockey players. And yes, by the way, if you haven't noticed, we kind of redecorated the set a little bit. Got some ducks here on top of my on-air sign. These were supposed to be in my brand new Jeep that I mentioned in my previous live stream. But I have been unable yet to find a way to keep them on the dashboard. Tried a little bit of tape that I was provided to from my family, but the tape didn't really seem to stick a little bit. So they have found a very nice home right here on my on-air sign in the Game Time Boys studio. But as soon as I can find a substance to help hold them on the dashboard, they'll be moving to my Jeep. The other thing is a little bit of a programming note. Be on the lookout this coming Friday. I noticed there was no video this Friday. Was just kind of looking at what I could possibly post on Friday, and honestly couldn't really come up with anything. But this coming Friday, special video out on the Game Time Voice YouTube channel. We will take a look as on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, the final World Cup roster for the U.S. men's national team will be announced. So we will take a look and react to that. So be on the lookout for that this coming Friday. The roster is announced on Tuesday, but I will have a video out for that this coming Friday. Now, I'm going to double check that stack because I want to see. Because I feel like it's more players than just 5. Let me see if I can find it. So let's take a look at the roster. Let's see if I can find it. No, unfortunately, they do not list if they were in colleges or not. But they say 4, so 4 for the Canadiens and 5 for the... Actually, no, I got that mixed up. Oh, no, I did have it right. 4 Canadiens and 5 Carolina Hurricanes play college hockey. So I encourage everybody who is watching, make sure, get out to your local colleges, wherever they may be. Because NHL players and future NHL players are playing right in your own backyard, especially here in the great state of Massachusetts. And especially this game. As we have a former Eagle, couple former Eagles, couple former Northeastern Huskies, a former Providence College Friar, and a former BU Terrier playing in this game. Yes, and that's the other thing. Not even taking into account the amount of prospects currently playing college hockey for both of these teams, which are abundance. And I believe I made a great decision as the Red Sox just lost 4-2 to the Twins. So glad you were joining us here on the Game Time Voice YouTube channel. I'm your host, Mike Walsh, and I thank you for doing this. Just want to double check something. I had an app open. And let me see what I can do. Mic check. All right. Sorry, I'm weirdly having a chance to hear my own voice. So I just want to mute the sound just so I'm not constantly hearing myself. We are almost set to go. So the goaltending matchup for the Canadiens, Jakub Dobeš this postseason, 9-6, 2.48 goals against, 9.11 save percentage. Frederik Andersen, 9-1, 1.53 goals against, and a 950 something save percentage. Montreal trying to take a 2-0 series lead. Carolina trying to even it up before this heads to the Bell Center in Montreal. Puck is dropped. We are underway in Carolina. And this one will go back into the Hurricane zone. And be chipped up into the neutral zone. And here come the Hurricanes back the other way quickly. Pass across and a save by Dobeš. As streaking across was Logan Stankoven. So an early opportunity for the Hurricanes. Now here come the Canadiens back the other way. Newhook gets pushed into the boards. Demidov over to play it. And Walker is going to settle this and hand it off to Sean Walker. And K'Andre Miller will settle back in his own zone. So I just realized I should probably start the clock. This one's fired into the Canadian zone. This one chipped behind the net. Now the Canadiens will try to take it out of the zone. And this one picked up by Juraj Slafkovský, who had a highlight reel goal in Game 1. Brings it up to the right side, takes it around the net. Looking for an opening, tried to set out in front, and no one there but a Hurricane. Now here come the Hurricanes back in the zone, but just offsides with 18:44 left in the first period. K'Andre Miller sent it in. This one wrapped all the way around. I'm almost squeaked down in front for an opportunity. This one sent in by the Hurricanes. And a big check there by Andrei Svechnikov. And now here comes Josh Anderson into the Carolina zone. Stops up. Floats one in the middle, but nobody there, and goes past Anderson's net. Now this one's sent in the middle, poked out of the air, and up to the point. Sent down low, but cut out by the Hurricanes, and here they come back the other way. This one over to Svechnikov, but it popped off his stick and into the Canadian zone. Sebastian Aho reverses it and then gives a big check there. This one comes behind the net, and coming out of there with it is Jaden Struble. Actually, no, that's Alexander Carrier, and he'll send it in deep. Anderson tried to come out to play it, but it goes past him. Now here come the Hurricanes back the other way and into the Canadian zone. Being sandwiched by a couple of players there was William Carrier, former Stanley Cup winner with the Vegas Golden Knights. Now back around the net to Kirby Dach. Into the middle, and sort of a deflected shot and a score. Letting the shot go for the Hurricanes was Eric Robinson. And just like Game 1, the Hurricanes with an early goal. It's 1-0. With 17:27 left. This one came out in the middle, and that one got deflected. It was a sort of a half shot from William Carrier, and reaching back behind him to deflect it in is Robinson. Reached around Mike Matheson and deflected it to the other side as Dobeš was going to play it. So an early lead for the Hurricanes. This one's sent back into their zone. Canadians trying to answer quickly. They did almost a minute afterwards in Game 1. This is going to be a back and forth series, folks. And now here they come again, and a backhand saved by Dobeš on Logan Stankhoven's backhand. Canadians running around right now. So it's Eric Robinson with the assist coming from William Carrier and Mark Jankowski. Canadians yet to register a shot. This one gets sent all the way down and now into the zone. Jakub Slavin's going to clear it. It's going to come back out. Cole Caulfield's going to set it up with Alexander Carrier now back behind the Canadiens' net. Carrier goes up the wall. Back to get it here is Jalen Chatfield. He's going to reverse it to Jakub Slavin. Now this one picked up, and here come the Hurricanes again. Nikolai Ehlers up for Jordan Martinook. Tried to drop it. This one chipped up. Caulfield tried to help it along. And delayed offside. Canadians got to tag up. Here comes Sebastian Aho into the attacking zone. Leaves it for a teammate. Now a wrist shot blocked. Second chance, but that one hit off a Canadian and goes wide. Has taken that one. Now another shot saved by Dobeš. The rebound deflected up in the air. Now pass across and nothing will get a stick on it. Shane Gostisbehere. Canadians running around in their own zone. This one sent all the way down. No icing. Josh Anderson beat it. The Hurricanes are stifling right now. Draw pass, shot blocked. This one back behind the net. Seth Jarvis. Now we'll get some help here. Now the Canadians trying to get it out of the zone. They've been hemmed in extensively here in the early going. Now a Michigan attempt by Andrei Svechnikov. All the Canadians are getting everything they want and more from the Hurricanes. Anderson tries a spin move, but pushed off there. Puts it back behind the net. Now this one get rimmed all the way around. Only person there is William Carrier. He's in a battle with Oliver Kapanen. Now this one picked up. Far side backhand feed. And this one chipped across as Eric Robinson. He had the goal scored. This one will go back to Nikolai Ehlers. Dobeš will come out of his net to play it. 6 minutes gone here in the period. Here comes Lane Hudson, the former BU Terrier. Goes across. Pass looking for Mark Jankowski. Actually, no, it was Kirby Dach. But that one picked off, and here come the Hurricanes again. Now Hudson. Quick entry, and here comes Kirby Dach trying to get around Jalen Chatfield. Taylor Hall, the former Bruin, back to get it. 2 Canadians, 2 Hurricanes trying to jam it loose. In there's Zach Baldock. Baldock's going to get it back to the point. Now the Canadians moving back up top. Here's Alex Carrier. Couldn't get a shot through. Now a turnaround shot blocked down front by Taylor Hall. Chatfield's going to get it out of the zone. This one's going to go all the way down for an icing with 13:06 left in the first period. And it is all Hurricanes right now. Let's get another look. Svechnikov tried to a Michigan and just lost it on the way up. And then a beautiful toe drag backhand by Logan Stankhoven. That one stopped by Dobeš. This one will get cleared all the way down. Matheson will pick it up. No icing here. Matheson going to turn around. Carolina 6-1 when scoring the first goal in the postseason. The problem, the one loss was last game against the Canadiens. Now this one's sent in the Canadian zone, but back to get is Keandre Miller. Quick up into the Canadian zone. Over to get it is Mark Jankowski. Jankowski in a battle here. But the Canadians trying to get it loose, and they will. Noah Dobson up the middle. Here comes Juraj Slafkovský. Pass across looking for Caulfield. Couldn't get on it. Now this one in the middle and banked out. And back to get his Lane Hudson. Goes across to Noah Dobson. Dobson will pick it up in front of his net and go the other way. Into the middle looking for Davidoff, but that one picked off. Here comes Seth Jarvis back the other way. Reverses it to Svechnikov. Svechnikov takes a tumble. Now Sebastian Aho comes out of the pack with it. Switches with Chatfield. Now a shot. That one goes off into the corner. And the net is off its mooring. So we get a stoppage here with 11:41 left in the first period. Shots 3-0 in favor of the Hurricanes. Now 4-0 actually. They have hemmed in the Canadiens in their own zone. Well, welcome everybody joining us here on the Game Time Voice YouTube channel. for our coverage of Game 2 of the NHL Eastern Conference Final between the Montreal Canadiens and the Carolina Hurricanes. If you guys have not done so already, don't forget to leave a like, a comment in the chat, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more amazing videos of all kinds of sports and commentary highlights of mine, which have slowed down a little bit. Not as much action going on in the spring season as normally is in the winter and fall seasons. I have tried to get the highlights of a game that was not live streamed but pre-recorded, but I will reach out again tomorrow to see if I can get that. As we currently have 6 people viewing right now, but we've had 90 people stop by already. So thank you all for joining us. And now the Canadiens come out 2-on-1 back the other way here. Ivan Demidov cuts to the middle, but a nice sliding play there by Taylor Hall. We're going to get a penalty here against, I believe it's the Hurricanes. But the Hurricanes got the first goal on a beautiful tip by Eric Robinson. They will have the lead with 1-0 with 11:27 left in the first period. Okay, I want to welcome you all joining us here on the Game Time Voice YouTube channel. I'm your host, Mike Walsh. And if this is your first live stream joining us, we welcome you. If this is not your first time, we thank you for returning. I'm going to try and do more live streams as the playoffs get back underway. We'll probably see if we can stream. Or actually, let me pose this question to all of you guys who are watching here in the live stream. For the games that I can actually live stream, and because it's a reasonable start time, I will probably live stream it. I don't have a problem though if it's a later start time, pre-recording it and then posting those reactions later, or I can just do live streams at any hour and you guys can enjoy ourselves. But I would like to see if I can do pretty much all the games on the Stanley Cup final, but we'll see how that goes, because might be some late start times out west. But if you are just joining us, Eric Robinson got on the tip. Gave the Hurricanes a 1-0 lead, but it is a penalty against Logan Stankhoven. So the first power play of the game will go to the Hurricanes. Face-off one. Demidov down low. Now a backhand feed for Suzuki. Tried to get in the middle, but this one cleared by Jalen Chatfield. It is Hudson, Slafkovský, Suzuki, Caulfield, and Demidov. Caulfield has it. Trying to get it back. But this one will be cleared down. Minute 30 left on the power play. And 10:47 left in the period. Nick Suzuki back for the Canadiens. Gains his own. Try to backhand feed. And now Sebastian Aho is going to come up short-handed. Has support. Across to Keandre Miller. Back for Aho. And this one's going to be played around. Dobeš is going to bunt it forward. And Lane Hudson's going to bring it up. Now he's going to drop back as the Canadiens get their second power play unit out. With 44 seconds left. Alex Texier into the zone. Pass down low. Finds Kirby Dach back up top for Noah Dobson. This one rimmed around. Kept down low. Now a pass across, but nobody there in a white jersey. And now the Hurricanes are going to clear it. Not very much heading to the front of the net. 20 seconds left on the power play. This one moved up, and Texier tried to get over for Dach, but that one doesn't come out. And here come the Hurricanes. Eric Robinson, the goal scorer, shot. Dobeš has it. Didn't know where it was for a second. But he's able to squeeze it with 6 seconds left on the power play. 9:33 left in the period. So Eric Robinson trying to sneak it in between the pads, and Dobeš had to squeeze. Shots are 5-0 in favor of the Hurricanes. Faceoff will be to the right of Jakub Dobeš. And it's won by the Canadiens. This should kill off the rest of the penalty. As coming out of the box is Logan Stankoven. Josh Anderson leaves it for Kirby Dach. He's in a board battle there with Shane Gostisbehere. Now Alexander Nikishin. He'll get out of the zone, but the Canadiens pick it right off. Drop feed. Now trying to get it forward was Caden Gooley. Now this one rimmed around and sent up, but kept in nicely by Gooley. Pass across. Now in the middle for a shot and a score. Josh Anderson in front. And just like in game one, the Canadiens answer right back with their first shot on goal in the game. And with 8:49 left, we're tied at 1. Taylor Hall tried to clear it. It was kept in by Caden Gooley. And a pass across. As letting that pass go was Phillip Danault. And a wonderful saucer pass on the stick of Anderson. And he tucks it away. And it actually ramps up off the skate of Alex Nikishin. And we got a new hockey game. It's 1-1. So on the first shot on goal from the Canadiens, they're now losing the shots on goal battle 5-1. But they have tied the scoreboard up at 1-1. And remember, in game 1, they answered back with 4 straight. Now pass across, Jordan Martinook wide open, but that one was blocked by the Canadiens. Now Jacob Slavin will send it in deep. Jordan Stahl back to get it. Sends it back around for Martinook. Martinook into the middle for Stahl, and that one hit the post. Hurricanes fans jumped up. They thought it hit the net. But no, it got clipped by the iron. So Phillip Danault and Caden Gooley with the assist on Josh Anderson's 4th of the postseason. Now the Canadiens will send it right back in. Over to get it. Or the Hurricanes will send it out into neutral ice. Lane Hudson back to get it. Hudson in the middle. And he'll find Oliver Kapanen. He'll send it in deep. Frederik Andersen comes out of his net to rim it around. Sebastian Aho will pick it up and he'll skate it out. Pass across. And here comes Andrei Svechnikov. Svechnikov looking across, trying to find a teammate, but nobody there. And Lane Hudson's going to try to win a battle, jumping up in the play, but now he's got to get back. Keandre Miller. Cross for Seth Jarvis. Jarvis poked off his stick. And now here comes Jake Evans back the other way. Evans in the middle. 1 against 3 here, and Keandre Miller comes out of the pack with it. Up top, Carrier. Shot hit the maze of bodies in front. Now back here just wide of the post. Demidov couldn't get a stick on it. Demidov looking for some options in the middle. Couldn't find a teammate. As he was looking for, I believe that was Newhook. Carved out front. He had both game-winning goals in both Game 7s against Buffalo and Tampa. Now here comes Carrier with a backhand, goes just wide. Slavin with a shot from the point that goes wide also. This one knocked out of the air, pass across. Carrier going to get a stick on it. Kept in at the point by Jalen Chatfield. Wrist shot, blocked in front. This one will be out of the zone, but not enough for an icing. Chatfield back to get. Newhook puts him under pressure. Now this one's going to be flipped up into the neutral zone. Matheson back forward. He's under pressure from the Hurricanes goal scorer, Eric Robinson. Matheson will regroup behind his net. Taylor Hall on the forecheck. Matheson spins off him. Finds a teammate streaking up the middle. This one across, but just out of the reach of Phillip Danault. Now back to get is Noah Dobson. Dobson reverses it back. Now this one at center ice. And Phillip Danault has it. Lane Hudson into the middle. But now this one picked up, and here come the Hurricanes back the other way. Stankoven fans on the shot. Puts it back behind the net. This one picked up by Nikolai Ehlers. Now up top for a shot that was blocked. Letting that shot go was Alexander Nikishin. This one back behind the net. Picking it up here for the Habs is Alexander Texier. Foreside, they will battle for it here. He'll chip it along to the captain, Nick Suzuki. But his fellow captain, Jordan Stahl of the Hurricanes, keeps it in. Stahl back to play it. We're going to get stoppage. And do we have a hand pass being called? We might have it. And we'll see what the penalty is. But Jordan Stahl hits the post. And we are tied at 1 with 4:39 left in the first period. I will be back in just a second. You are watching the Eastern Conference Finals between the Hurricanes and the Habs here on the Game Time Voice YouTube channel. All right, and I'm back. All right, had a little bit of a runny nose here. So again, I want to welcome all of you guys joining us, as I believe we currently have 6 people in the live stream, and we are 4:39 from the first intermission. We've already had 131 people stop by in the live stream, so appreciate all of you guys joining us. And wherever home is, we encourage you guys to be active in the chat and share the stream on social media. And subscribe if you haven't done so already. We are trying to get to 100 subscribers by the end of 2026. And I know that's probably a lofty goal, but it's my goal nonetheless. And stay tuned in the first intermission. So we'll talk about all the important aspects. So we are back underway. And if you are just joining us, I want to welcome you guys in. Eric Robinson got the goal scoring started for the Hurricanes. And then Josh Anderson equalized it for the Habs. So we are tied at 1. Shots are 5-1 in favor of the Hurricanes. So we come up on 4 minutes left in the first period. as Alexander Carrier under pressure here from Sebastian Aho. Lane Hudson comes back to provide support. This one chipped along. Here come the Habs back the other way. Oliver Kapanen will send it in deep. Frederik Andersen's thought about coming out and playing it, but he'll leave it right there for Andrei Svechnikov, who, if you're just joining us, tried a Michigan earlier in the period. This one's sent into the Habs zone. Jakub Dobeš plays it very calmly over to Lane Hudson. This one helped along by Kapanen into the middle, but picked off by Svechnikov, and he'll put it right on the Canadian logo, right on Dobeš. And he'll cover with 3:24 left, and I think we might get a penalty here against the Canadiens. And if I believe that's Jaden Struble who will go. We will wait to confirm when they come back from break. It has been back and forth, nonstop action between these two teams. And we are enjoying every second of it. And if you have no idea what's going on the other side, the Vegas Golden Knights have won both games in Colorado and have taken a 2-0 series lead back to Vegas. If memory serves me correct, let me double check this, because I want to make sure I'm giving you guys the right idea. Game 3 of that series will be tomorrow night, 8 o'clock in Vegas. And we'll see. Maybe I will live stream that game. We'll see how tonight's goes. Because I do have, it is Memorial Day weekend. We do have Monday off, so we might just do it. We'll see what happens. And coming up in the first intermission, we'll talk about that series as well as take a look in at the New England Revolution's last game before the World Cup break. Hard to believe the World Cup is, I believe it's 21 days. It's no more than 20 days left before the World Cup. So it's matching minors. Actually, no, it's power play for the Hurricanes, as Jaden Struble will go off. Now down low is a diving play there by Matheson. Will rim it all the way around and out of the zone. .137 left. On the power play as the Hurricanes come into the zone. Drop feed here for Keandre Miller. Down low for Taylor Hall. Hall walks right out in front, tried to find Logan Stankoven in front, but couldn't do it. This one gets back around, and Alex Newhook's going to clear it down on Anderson. And he'll sell it for Miller. 2:30 left in the first period. 1:05 left on the power play for the Hurricanes. This one sent in the zone. Sebastian Aho trying to pick it up. This one poked free. Svechnikov fighting for it. And the Hurricanes will get possession. Back up top for Shane Gostisbehere. Over for Nikolai Ehlers. He'll get it back. Walk it into the middle. Down low. Finds Seth Jarvis. Back for Ehlers. Ehlers lets a shot go, and Dobeš blockers it up into the glass. Ehlers gets it back. Pass across. and unable to get it on the far post. I believe that was Andrei Svechnikov, and we're going to get a penalty here against the Hurricanes, and it's going to be Svechnikov with 1:44 left in the period. So we'll play 4-on-4 for 21 seconds. Svechnikov got tripped by Dobeš and then decided to take it out on Josh Anderson as it comes right through behind him. It's going to be a boarding call here against Svechnikov. So we'll play 4-on-4 for 21 seconds. Yeah, there's no doubt about that one. Let's take a look at Rod Brind'Amour, head coach of the Hurricanes and former Stanley Cup champion captain with them back in 2006. Here come the Hurricanes back the other way. Jacob Slavin almost got through. Now the Canadiens will settle it down as the 4-on-4 will come to an end. And the Hurricanes have 1:35 of power play time left. If they don't score, it will carry over into the second period. So when rim back around, Cole Caulfield will pick it up. Caulfield up top. Back down low, Suzuki lets it roll for Demidov. Back for Suzuki. Into the middle, he was looking for Juraj Slafkovský. Demidov. Back for Slafkovský. Back for Demidov. Slafkovský. Tried to get it across for Caulfield. Couldn't do it. Lane Hudson picks it up. This one back across, and Demidov couldn't handle it. 42 seconds left in the period. Demidov. Quick re-entry. Pulled up, but couldn't corral it. Lane Hudson will retreat. 46 seconds left in the power play. 30 seconds left in the period. Hudson. Drop feed. Here comes Nick Suzuki. Suzuki. Poked off his stick, and here comes Sebastian Aho. One against the world. Now Suzuki will pick it up. 11 seconds left. Reverse pass, and here come the Hurricanes. 2-on-1 if they hurry. Jarvis fanned on the one-timer. Now a shot from the point goes wide, and that will end the first period. So a thrilling, entertaining back-and-forth period has us tied at 1, and the Hurricanes with a big chance with the 2-on-1, but Jarvis fanned on the one-timer. And so the Hurricanes will take 16 seconds of power play time into the first intermission and take that and start the second period with that. So at the end of one period, it's the Hurricanes 1 and the Canadiens 1. On goals by Eric Robinson for the Hurricanes and Josh Anderson for the Canadiens. I want to welcome you all joining us here on the Game Time Boys YouTube channel. I'm your host, Mike Walsh. And I want to thank you for joining us for NHL playoff action between the Carolina Hurricanes and the Montreal Canadiens. What has been a fun last few days of hockey. For those of you just joining us, the Golden Knights, with a 2-0 series lead over the President's Trophy winning Colorado Avalanche. As this NHL playoffs have been nothing short of exciting. Meanwhile, we are doing live check-ins on the New England Revolution as they are playing their last game before the World Cup break, as they are currently in Carolina to play against Charlotte FC. And we'll take a look at the MLS standings. Revolution come in third place. And only 4 points out of top spot, Nashville. Meanwhile, Charlotte currently sits in a 3-way tie for 5th with both New York teams, New York City FC and the New York Red Bulls. And there's believed to be plenty of players on this field. Matt Turner, in goal for the Revolution, is believed to be one of the many players who represent the U.S. in the World Cup, along with the man on the ball here for Charlotte, Tim Ream. Revolution, after a season last year where they were dead last for basically the entire year, as a shot comes in from Charlotte and saved by Matt Turner. Under first-year head coach Marko Mitrovic, have returned to where I think they truly belong, at the top of the Eastern Conference. And here they come on the attack. Peyton Miller got dragged down. Nothing doing. It's going to be a foul outside the box. Well, welcome all of you guys joining us here on the Game Time Voice YouTube channel. We are currently in the first intermission between the Carolina Hurricanes and the Montreal Canadiens. 1-1 your score in Carolina. So we have a free kick in a dangerous area here for the New England Revolution, as we're doing a live look-in on their game against Charlotte FC. And it's 0-0 your score in the 15th minute. I'm going to step aside for just a sec. But when we come back, we'll have more intermission / soccer action right here on the Game Time Voice YouTube channel. And we're back here on the Game Time Voice YouTube channel. Sorry. Allergies have been a pain in the neck. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. Some of you here inside probably thinking the same thing I'm thinking. Allergies have been an absolute pain in the neck. As the Revolution New England Revolution, I should say, just went 1-0 down to Charlotte FC in the 17th minute. So Revolution down 1-0, but that's nothing new to them. They've been coming from behind. Seems like it's the entire year. What kind of goal was this? That seems like a tough goal to give up, boys. And if you are just joining us, Montreal and Carolina tied at 1 in the NHL Eastern Conference playoffs. On goals from Eric Robinson to give Carolina a 1-0 lead, and then Josh Anderson tied it at 1 for Montreal. That's where we stand in the Eastern Conference final in the NHL. And in case anybody's wondering, do you have any rooting interest in this game? No, I do not. Hence why I am currently wearing my Carolina Flames jersey. And some of you might be wondering, why in the heck do you have a Carolina Flames jersey? Well, that's because of who it is. And I don't know if I can show you guys, but we've got a jersey in honor of the late, great Johnny Gaudreau and his brother Matthew and the entire Gaudreau family, as the former BC Eagles lost their lives on the weekend of a wedding. Far too young. So, got a Calgary Flames jersey in honor of Johnny Hockey. And I really hadn't had a chance to wear it as much as I wanted. But this seemed like the perfect thing because I really could care less who wins this series. I would like, I know this is weird to say, but I would love to see a Vegas Montreal final. I think that would be great. I think if Carolina plays anybody, like Carolina Vegas doesn't really intrigue me, and Carolina Colorado definitely doesn't intrigue me. But I think the best matchup for the league is Montreal versus Vegas, because it's one of the oldest teams in the NHL against one of the newer teams in the NHL, and also they have playoff history, as last time Montreal went to the Cup final in 2021, they beat Vegas in order to reach the Cup final. So they have playoff history there. But that Vegas team was, ironically enough, not the same Vegas team that won the Cup just 2 years later. So I think Vegas Montreal will be a much more entertaining Cup final than any of the other scenarios. And if that's the case, I will wholeheartedly then be rooting for the Golden Knights. As much as humanly possible. Because the last thing I want to do is see the Canadiens of all teams lift the cup, especially as a Bruins fan. Because we've been in the playoffs a lot more than they have in recent years. And if they all of a sudden get in just their second year, basically, of playoff hockey after a rebuild, win the Stanley Cup, then that is not a good reflection on us. And that's just me being honest. And well, that's the other reason too, is that I have far more Golden Knights attire than I do. Far more Golden Knights attire than I do Canadiens attire. So, and I've also actually been to a Golden Knights game in Vegas with my dad. So, and that was back when they were relatively new, but I believe they were out of the playoffs when I went to watch them. So, very, very fun. I mean, yeah, the fact that they fired Bruce Cassidy is a reason maybe not to like him, but I mean, if they go on to win the Stanley Cup, they look like geniuses. See, you had two. I actually did this in a video I did, which if you haven't watched it, go and watch it. I did a video on when is the right time to fire a coach, and I used two examples. Both were in the NHL this year when Patrick Waugh, the former great goaltender for the Montreal Canadiens and Colorado Avalanche, most people forget about his Avalanche days, was fired by the New York Islanders just before the postseason when they were in a playoff spot. And they brought in Peter DeBoer and then played themselves out of a playoff spot. Meanwhile, the Vegas Golden Knights, who were in a playoff spot, fired Bruce Cassidy, brought in John Tortorella, and they are 2 games away from the Stanley Cup Finals. So the complete opposite in terms of the spectrum. All right, second period should be getting underway in just a sec. Between the Canadiens and the Hurricanes, I want to welcome all of you guys join us. And yes, for those of you just joining us, if you're wondering what shirt I am wearing, it is a Calgary Flames jersey. And if you're wondering why, it's because, well, to honor the late, great Johnny Gaudreau and his brother Matthew. Former BC Eagles. And as I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, for those of you just joining us, and I want to thank people in the chat who reminded me 4 college hockey players on the Montreal Canadiens and 5 on the Carolina Hurricanes. Mostly players out west, or actually in the Midwest, I should say, for the Carolina Hurricanes. For the Canadiens, mostly Cole Caulfield was out west, played in the University of Wisconsin, and won the Hobey Baker Award. But everybody else, former BC, BU, and Northeastern kids. So Canadiens are the local guys. So it's, if you're looking to support local players, it would believe to be the Canadiens. But I'm just hoping for the Canadiens to win this series and then lose in the Stanley Cup final. But that's just me. So we're almost set to get underway in the second period. Here between the Carolina Hurricanes and the Montreal Canadiens. I want to welcome all of you guys joining us here on the Game Time Voice YouTube channel. I'm your host, Mike Walsh, and I thank you for joining me. Canadiens will have 16 seconds of power play time. Now it's already down to 10 as we're getting underway here. Two seconds and one, and that penalty is expired. And a bank pass here is Svechnikov out of the box, and Dobeš almost poked it right into him. But this one goes wide. The Canadiens will turn it up. Slafkovský had it poked off his stick, and Noah Dobson will retreat. Slafkovský back for Dobson. And he'll retreat behind his net. Stretch pass up the wall, and now Slafkovský will send it in. Back to get here for the Hurricanes is Sean Walker, and he'll skate it up with Alex Newhook right on his tail. He'll chip it in further. Back to get it here is Alexander Carrier for the Canadiens. Carrier with a dump pass, nicely done. Trying to settle it was Jake Evans. This one kept in at the blue line, wrapped around behind the net for Frederik Andersen. Chip it all the way out of the glass and into the neutral zone. Caden Gooley, who had an assist on the Josh Anderson goal, get it back. Over for Carrier. This one sent in. Taylor Hall will send it up the wall. No pun intended. I believe we have an offside here against the Canadiens. Shots are 8-2 in favor of the Canadiens. Who are 7-2 on the road this postseason under head coach Martin St. Louis. Former Stanley Cup champion with the Tampa Bay Lightning back in 2004. His coach for that team, current coach of the Vegas Golden Knights, John Tortorella. So another reason why that series would have a lot of storylines. As Dobeš had a stick stuck in his skate, was finally able to dig it free. This one's going to go down and will not be an icing as a big hit by Taylor Hall and Lane Hudson. Pass in the middle. I think Dobeš actually got a piece of it with his paddle. Now here come the Canadiens back the other way here. Oliver Kapanen tried to get it loose, but this one picked off, and here come the Hurricanes back the other way. Jackson Blake with a backhand goes over the net. Back to the point, Jaden Chatfield keeps it in. Now this one comes back for a shot that goes wide. Jackson Blake let that one rip. Now Taylor Hall. Logan Stankoven over for Jacob Slavin. Now Jackson Morris with a shot hit the pile in front. Canadiens finally able to get it out. Now coming the other way with his Kirby Dach. Dach working against Slavin's going to stop up. Put it back down low. This one's going to get rimmed around. Kept in nicely by Caden Gooley. Now Nick Suzuki, the captain, trying to work it free. Up to the point. Kept in nicely with a nice skate to stick move there by Alexander Carrier. Now Suzuki has it. Up top for a shot by Dach, hit the pile in front. Now Gooley. Slafkovský. Suzuki able to keep it somehow nicely. Gets it over for Caulfield. Caulfield with a shot. Was looking for a tip from Suzuki. Couldn't get it. Now here come the Hurricanes back the other way. Chatfield will send it in. Slafkovský. Now this one sent in deep. We have an icing against the Canadiens, I believe. Yeah, it was Will Carrier's stick. Got stuck in the skate of Dobeš. Dobeš was trying to dig it loose, and then he just chucked it to the side. Now here comes Cole Caulfield back the other way. Shot saved by Anderson. 15:27 left in the second period. Shots are 8-3 in favor of the Hurricanes. Matheson. Cross. He was looking for Demidov, and here come the Hurricanes back the other way. Svechnikov pulls up. Tried to find Jarvis or Aho in the middle, but nobody there. Sean Walker rimming around. Keandre Miller picks it up. Down low for Seth Jarvis. Jarvis. Drop feed. Walker. Nice move. Tried to get off. Poke checked off his stick by Matheson. Last one up top for Sebastian Aho. Down low. Back for Aho. Aho up top for Miller. Miller backhands one down low. Somehow evades a couple of Canadiens, but now Matheson gets some help there from Jake Evans. And Alex Newhook finally able to get it out of the zone. And here comes Ivan Demidov. He's at the end of the shift, so he'll send it in deep. Keandre Miller back behind his net to get it. Stretch pass, and here comes Will Carrier into the zone. Backhands one out in front, and Dobeš able to corral it and then send it off. But here come the Hurricanes again, back the other way. Eric Robinson, the goal scorer for him. Now also picked off. Cross-ice feed Josh Anderson. He scored the goal for the Canadiens. Around the net. Into the middle, he was looking for Phillip Danault. Now, Alex Texier trying to keep it in. Now this one will be chipped down in the neutral zone. Back to get it, the former BU Terrier, Lane Hudson. Gets it over for Oliver Kapanen. Now this one's sent in deep, but out of play. 13:25 left in the first period. And score tied at 1 here between the Hurricanes and the Canadiens in the Eastern Conference Final. Meanwhile, taking a look in Charlotte. Revolution down 1-0 to Charlotte FC, currently in the 36th minute. Revolution trying to head into the World Cup break on a high. And trying to maybe jump into second place in the Eastern Conference than Revolution. And really, the Revolution, the only positive thing going on in Boston sports. Bruins, of course, bowed out with a whimper in the first round of the Sabres. Celtics blew a 3-1 lead to the Philadelphia 76ers. Boston Fleet had one of the greatest regular seasons in PWHL history, but failed to make the Walter Cup Finals, which was won by the Montreal Victoire. So one Montreal team has already won a hockey championship. And the Red Sox are, well, the less we talk about them, the better. So they currently sit at 22-29. So the Revolution, the only bright spot right now in Boston sports. And I don't know the record, but I believe the Boston Legacy, the NWSL team, has picked up a couple wins lately, so maybe they could turn it around. It's just a weird thing when you're watching sports in May and neither of your teams are in it. We're used to the Celtics at least making the Eastern Conference Finals. Bruins Bruins are probably right where they're normally at, which is first round exit or maybe a second round exit. But we were hoping for more. Back underway in Carolina, puck in the Canadian zone. Puck behind the net. Matheson and Dobson digging at it. Now Caulfield trying to dig it loose, along with 3 Hurricanes on their backs. With 12:30 left in the second period, tied at 1. Shots are 9-3 in favor of the Hurricanes. Now Slafkovský over for Caulfield. Into the middle for Suzuki, trying to deke through Hurricanes defense, but Slafkovský comes out of the pack with it. Trying to turn around shot that goes wide. Now this one floated out into the Canadian zone. Now Slafkovský will send it back into the Hurricanes end. Jake Evans and Alex Newhook on the forecheck. Now pass up the middle and in on Dobeš. He'll glove it down and now cover with Svechnikov lurking. With 11:43 left in the second period, game still tied at 1. Jakub Dobeš has provided stability for the Habs in a position they sorely needed stability. With Sam Montembeault basically playing his way out of the rotation, currently sits up in the press box. And Dobeš came in and took the job, although was not without competition, as Former BC Eagles standout Jacob Fowler had a couple of impressive showings. This one chipped into the Hurricane zone. Here comes Demidov. Drop feed was looking for Jake Evans. Now back behind the net is Caden Gooley. Or for Evans. Evans. Up to the point. Fired a pass over for Jaden Struble. Able to get it down low. Demidov tried to rim it around, but couldn't do so. Teammates were in the midst of a change, so this one will come back out. Lane Hudson with a backhand saucer pass. Now cross ice feed gets turned over, and Seth Jarvis will dump it in. Hudson up the wall. Now this one picked off, and here comes Alexander Texier back for it. Catches an edge. Then tried to feed it behind him, but the only person he found was a Hurricane. This one chipped up the wall. And Phillip Danault up for Josh Anderson. Anderson pass across, and a shot goes just wide, I believe. I think that was Alex Newhook who let that shot go. Now William Carrier back the other way for Carolina. Needs some help. Go back up to the point to Alex Nishkin. This shot goes wide. Now a wraparound attempt by Carrier, but that goes through the crease. Logan Stankoven back for a one-timer. That one blocked by Phillip Danault. Now back behind the net for Carrier. Carrier drops it off for Shane Goss's spare. He'll leave it for, I believe that's Logan Stankoven. And now Stankoven will bring it in. Some tired Canadians out there right now. Now, Chatfield. Now this one will be sent down low. Back up top for Chatfield. They'll send it back around again. Or we forget is Nikolai Ehlers. Back for Mark Jankowski. Jankowski on a tour of the offensive zone. Spins at the blue line. Going to try give and go here with Jake Jackson Blake. Now a turnaround shot. That one goes wide. Letting that shot go. I believe that was Seth Jarvis. Now we're going to get a penalty here against the Canadiens with 8:52 left in the second period. And that one might go on Dobeš. He put a blocker on Mark Jankowski. So yes, your eyes do not deceive you. That is the goaltender for the Montreal Canadiens who had a penalty called against him, but he will not serve it. Someone else will serve it for him. Meanwhile, in Charlotte, still 1-0 in favor of Charlotte FC over the New England Revolution. Revolution trying to head into the World Cup break on a high note. One your score if you're just joining us. Eric Robinson on a deflected shot gave the Hurricanes a 1-0 lead, and then Josh Anderson tied it up for Montreal, but Hurricanes will head to the power play. Rod Brind'Amour 22-7 following a loss in the regular season, and they had not lost a game up until game 1 against the Canadiens. So Zach Baldock will serve the penalty assessed to the goaltender Jakub Dobeš. And it's a 2-minute power play for the Hurricanes. Shots 10-4 in their favor. Face-off controlled by the Hurricanes. Puck now on the far side. 4-side battle. 2 Canadiens, 2 Hurricanes. Now 3 Canadiens, 3 Hurricanes. 6 players battling for it. As the Hurricanes trying to milk a clock down. But able getting out of there. Mark Jankowski up top for Shane Gostisbehere. Now down low for Seth Jarvis. Back up top for Sebastian Aho. Aho, one-timer there by Svechnikov goes wide. Aho gets it back. Up top for Gostisbehere. Back for Aho. Down low for Jarvis. Jarvis spins off of Matheson. Rims it back up top for Gostisbehere. 1:13 left on the power play. Wrist shot from up top goes wide. Players will battle for it. Up top, Gostisbehere able to keep it in nicely. Aho. Down low for Svechnikov. Pass comes across. Jarvis. Get it back up to the point for Gostisbehere. Over for Aho. Back up top for Gostisbehere. Cross for Jarvis. Cross for Aho with a one-timer, and he broke his stick on it. Gostisbehere keeps it at the point. 43 seconds left on the power play. Now Aho. Over for Gostisbehere. Cross for Jarvis. Back for Gostisbehere. One-timer. That one goes wide. All these players have been out there the whole time. Aho. Gostisbehere. Jarvis. Aho. Gostisbehere. Back for Aho. Down low for Svechnikov. Gostisbehere. One-timer. Saved by Dobeš. Puck behind the net. Aho has it. Out in the middle for Svechnikov. Pass across. And this one's going to get out. Hurricanes had the puck possessed in the Canadian zone the entire power play, but could not convert. We are still tied at 1. Here comes Alex Newhook, the 2 Game 7 heroes. The hero of both Game 7s, I should say. That shot from the point goes wide. Alex Newhook, fun fact, the first player with back-to-back game-winning goals in the playoffs, or I should say multiple game-winning goals in the playoffs, since Nathan Horton back in the 2011 Bruins. So we come up on 6 minutes left. Tied at 1 in Carolina. Shots in favor of Carolina, 11-4. This pass comes across. Nikolai Ehlers into the Canadian zone. Spin pass finds Logan Stankoven. Backhand feed was looking for Martinook. This one will get cleared all the way down. Racing after it is Jaden Struble. But this won't be picked up by the Hurricanes. Backhand feed goes wide. Dobeš out of his net to play it, or I thought he was going to play it. He fanned on the play attempt. Now back behind the net, Lane Hudson. Over for Caulfield. In the middle. Now Nick Suzuki has it. Slafkovský picks it up. Over for Suzuki. Goes wide with it. Spin pass. Tried to leave it for Slafkovský, who had the stick knocked out of his hands. Now this one will be sent all the way down for an icing with 5:01 left in the first period. Actually, the second period, I should say. Meanwhile, in Charlotte, Revolution down 1-0 at halftime to Charlotte FC. Meanwhile, in Carolina, we are tied at 1. Face-off control by the Canadiens, and a pass in the middle got deflected. Now a shot saved by Anderson. He'll steer that to the boards. Now a shot from the point hit a maze of bodies and goes wide. And this one will be cleared into the neutral zone. Now we'll come all the way back into the Canadian zone. Caden Gooley had an assist on the Josh Anderson goal. This one chipped in by Alex Texier. Sebastian Aho will pick it up for the Hurricanes. In the middle looking for Svechnikov, but Josh Anderson will put right back in behind Freddie Anderson. He will play the puck. Now Jacob Slavin will pick it up. This one sent all the way around. Now a shot. That one hit the crossbar. A wide angle shot caught Dobeš by surprise. And he was scrambling to his post. And it actually hit right over his head and underneath the crossbar. Now Matheson is going to send this in. DeAndre Miller will pick it up and rim it around. Kept in at the point by Newhook for a moment. And now Jake Evans will retreat. Try to get it back across, but it's picked off. Here comes Mark Jankowski with a shot. That one goes just wide. Chipped back up to the point for DeAndre Miller. That one hit the mazes of bodies in front. Now here comes Demidov. Drop pass was trying to find. Not sure who that was intended for, but puck now behind, or actually just to the left of Dobeš's net. It was actually Alexander Carrier that Demidov was trying that drop feed for. This one's now rimmed around. Now here come the Hurricanes back the other way. Nikolai Ehlers. Stop, and a shot and a score! Nikolai Ehlers with a turnaround shot fools Jakub Dobeš. Or Jakub Dobeš, I should say, and with 2:57 left in the second period, the Hurricanes with a 2-1 lead. Ehlers picked up the puck, chipped it around Caulfield, and a turnaround shot squeaks through the 5-hole of Dobeš. And the Hurricanes have restored the lead. It's 2-1. And a wonderful play there from Nikolai Ehlers. So unlike in game one, the Hurricanes respond after giving up a tying goal. Now the Canadiens trying to answer back again. This one picked up by Zach Baldock. He'll chase after it and keep it in. Sends it back down low. It was past Kirby Dach. Now this one rimmed around. Taylor Hall over to get it, but he'll run into Noah Dobson. Now pass up top for Matheson. That one blocked in front. Hurricanes trying to get it out. And finally, they are able to. Noah Dobson will retreat to get it. 2:07 left in the second period. Shane Gostisbehere back forward for the Canadiens. Quick up for Logan Stankoven. This one gets rimmed around the boards. So Nikolai Ehlers with assists from Jordan Martinook and Jacob Slavin. Now pass across and a shot and a blocker save there by Dobeš. As he robs, I believe that was Ehlers again. Hurricanes will retreat back in their own zone. Now bring it in the Canadian zone here. Aho across was looking for Svechnikov. Now this one will chip out and into the Hurricane zone, and it will go for an icing with 1:18 left. Shots 14-5 in favor of the Hurricanes, and they lead now 2-1 on the board. It's a heck of a play there, and it was Svechnikov who had a shot that Dobeš stopped. That's a look. That one was actually a deflected shot. Showing the replay again of the shot that hit the crossbar That one ramped off of Alexander Carrier's leg and hit off the crossbar, but Nikolai Ehlers with the goal to put the Hurricanes up 2-1 with 1:14 left in the second. As my allergies continue to be a problem. It's unbelievable. Although it has been nice and much more cooler last few days after a couple of 90-degree days earlier in the week. I just want to take a look at something real quick. So we are currently 19 days away. That's crazy. 19 days away from the start of the World Cup. I remember last time because of the World Cup. It probably was because of the the pandemic, because it was 2022, so they might have pushed it just to be safe, but that was happening that was like in November, I think. Or it might have been because of the heat. And so that was happening during the school year. Whereas now it's happening in the summer and most people will be out of school. I no longer work in the school system, so I will be working no matter what. But let me just take a look. For those of you wondering, the first game for the U.S. men's national team is June 12th at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Now, the only reason why it's that late is it's because it is out west in California. And actually, that's a Friday. So 30 seconds left in the second period. 2-1 the score between the Hurricanes and the Canadiens. Puck in the neutral zone. Now sent into the Canadian zone. Back to get is Noah Dobson. And we'll move it over to Lane Hudson. Hudson looking for some space. He might be happy just to bring this in his zone. No, now here's a chance. Nick Suzuki, Finn on the shot. With 2 seconds left. And that will end the period. Suzuki had a partial break, but he couldn't get the shot off. We got some extracurriculars going on at the end of the period. So Keandre Miller is down. It's a wonderful saucer pass up to Texier, and then Suzuki had a chance. But the last minute, Andrei Svechnikov with a beautiful back check. And then Texier speared Miller at the end of the period. There was no call. Although maybe there might be. And if I read lips correctly, they're reviewing this to see if it's a 5-minute major. And I don't know how it's not, as the man's stick was in the man's sensitive area. A heck of a back check by Svechnikov to prevent a tougher breakaway. And they also missed a high stick on Noah Dobson against Will Carrier. We'll see if I can sort this out. In between, I want to see what we have here. So it was a penalty for slashing. I don't think it was a 5-minute major. Let me double check that just to be safe. Well, judging by the outrage on social media, I believe it was a minor penalty. And I don't know how you get a minor penalty for spearing a guy in his groin unless you're from Montreal. So I believe it's only a 2-minute power play for the Hurricanes to start the third period. I want to say thank you for that person who subscribed, as we're up to 64 subscribers now on the Game Time Voice YouTube channel. So thank you to the newest member of the community. We sure appreciate your support. Meanwhile, second half about to get underway in Charlotte. The New England Revolution down 1-0 to Charlotte FC. The Revolution trying to finish before the World Cup break. In second place in the Eastern Conference, I believe. As they are just behind Inter Miami, sitting in third right now. So, Revolution back to prominence after a couple years dwindling in the basement of MLS. And thank God. Might have something to do with the local World Cup, but I don't think so. Let's see what happens. They're currently in the 47th minute in Charlotte, and the Revolution down 1-0. And I'll talk about this in a sec, but if you are just joining us, the winner of this series, the Canadiens and the Hurricanes, will go on to face the winner of the Colorado Avalanche and the Vegas Golden Knights. And the Golden Knights currently have a 2-0 series lead in that game, in that series. They're 2 wins away from heading back to the Stanley Cup final for the third time in the franchise's young history. I believe they're not even in double digits as a franchise. I believe this is year 9 of the franchise. And if you are just joining us, the Hurricanes got out to a 1-0 lead on a goal from Eric Robinson. Montreal tied it at 1 on a goal from Josh Anderson. And then with just over 2 minutes left in the period, Nikolai Ehlers gave Carolina its second lead of the game. So that is where we stand in Raleigh. Meanwhile, in Charlotte, Revolution down 1-0 with a road record of 1-4-1 in the MLS season. They have banked on Foxborough being a fortress and have picked up most of their victories at home this season. And they are trying to get a victory on the road here before the World Cup break. But they're facing a team who currently sits tied for 5th in MLS. And if you are joining us here for the Hurricanes and Canadiens, it is the second intermission in Raleigh with the Hurricanes up 2-1. So we will see. I might do a live stream tomorrow night for Vegas Colorado game 3. We'll see how I'm feeling. Because we have Memorial Day on Monday and no work on Monday. So we might stay up here on the Game Time Voice YouTube channel. But we will see. Also, video coming out on Friday, as we will probably react to the U.S. men's national team's official roster for the World Cup with a short, not really sure what the short will be, but a short coming out on Wednesday. So again, if you are new here, I want to welcome you to the Game Time Voice YouTube channel. I'm your host, Mike Walsh. The way the schedule works, Wednesday is shorts. Fridays normally are videos. That's a loose-based schedule. It depends on the week and depends on when I can get stuff out. And live streams are really not really set in stone. So those are, if I have a chance to do it, I will. If not, I won't. But if you are new, that is the way the schedule works. And if you have not done so already, please subscribe. I'm trying to hit 100 subscribers by the end of 2026. And I don't think that is a tough goal per se. I think we can absolutely get there. But I will leave that up to you guys. So it's been interesting to say the least. I thought the first 2 rounds of each playoffs, the NHL was beating the NBA handily in terms of entertainment value, this and that. I will say, though, I feel like the NBA's conference finals, my apologies, I think I just smacked the mic, so if you are listening to this, I do apologize. But I think the conference finals for the NBA have been a little bit more entertaining than the conference finals for the NHL. I will still watch the NHL over the NBA 10 times out of 10. I prefer hockey over basketball right now. But I can definitely be objective in saying that I think the basketball conference finals have been maybe slightly more entertaining. But what you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Or in the chat right now. As we currently have 5 people in the stream, and we have 5 people that are currently watching right now. I want to thank the 5 people who are joining me here. Hi, Mike Walsh. Welcome to the Game Time Voice YouTube channel's coverage of the NHL Eastern Conference Finals between the Montreal Canadiens and the Carolina Hurricanes. But we've had 362 people stop by at one point or another here on the stream. So thank you guys so much. This is by far, I think, the most people I've had during a live stream. So I got to do more NHL playoffs, I guess. Or that might just be because of the teams I'm doing it with. I don't know if I get these same numbers if I'm doing other teams. This might just be because it's the Canadiens. Well, let me be honest. Let's be honest. This might just be because it's the Canadiens who have a serious following wherever they may go. Meanwhile, in Charlotte and the MLS side of things, the New England Revolution are down 1-0 to Charlotte FC. Trying to get a win before the World Cup break. And again, if you are just joining us, my reaction to the U.S. men's national team's World Cup roster will be out on Friday. The rosters come out this Tuesday. And we are coming up on the 3rd period in Carolina with the Hurricanes leading the Canadiens 2-1, and with a power play of 2 minutes for Alexander Texier's slashing penalty right at the end of the 2nd period. We will be interested to see, as reports have come out on the roster, as somehow the roster's been leaked what is it? 3 days away from when it's released, and there are already some big controversies. I won't get into it, but let's just say there were some players who thought they were a lock that aren't, and some players who probably. Well, actually, here's the other thing. There might be some players that are going to missing this that might need to get replaced because of injuries. We'll see, but it's going to be an interesting summer. This is my thing. My very low bar. I think this is a low bar, to be quite honest with you. Some people might be saying this is a high bar, but I don't know. I want to push the envelope. I am just hoping for the U.S. to win a knockout game. Get out of your group, win a knockout game. You haven't done that since 2002. And I think that's the minimum. That's the minimum required for this national team. My wish, my dream would be like they have a Russia style run where they make it all the way to the semifinals and bow out on penalty kicks. That to me I would be very, very satisfied with that. And for those of you that don't pay attention throughout the years and just tune in every 4 years, first of all, I know there are people like this. So this isn't an insult. I know for a fact there are people who are like this. There are people who will tune in every 4 years to watch the U.S. at the World Cup just because they're casual fans. I would have loved to have seen if there were casual fans who tuned in 2018 to the World Cup in Russia and were like, what do you mean to tell me the U.S. is not in it? But for fans like that, those of you wondering, well, for example, who is our coach? Our coach is none other than Mauricio Pochettino. For those of you wondering, Mauricio Pochettino is an Argentine manager who has managed some of the top teams like Paris Saint-Germain in France and Chelsea and Tottenham in England, among many other teams that he has coached. In case you are wondering, he's brought a couple of those teams to the Champions League finals, which is the top tournament for club teams in the world. And for those of you like I know who are watching and being like, why do we not have an American coaching the national team? Well, let's be honest. One, when we were doing a search, we did not have one that was available. And two, the ones that were available were not very good. And so to be quite honest with you, he was a man of very high pedigree who had the best coaching one that we could afford or actually was interested. And I will remind you, there is a history of people from other countries coaching other national teams. As I believe in 2010, we had an Italian manager coaching the England squad. And yes, I believe unlike in our major sports, the coach has the final say on the roster. Especially at the national team level. But we are back underway in the third period. As a shot from Shane Gostisbehere. Saved by Jakub Dobeš. As we have 1:20 left on the power play. Now a shot up from the point from Aho, saved by Dobeš. Seth Jarvis up top for Shane Gostisbehere. For those of you just joining us, Alex Texier with a slashing penalty at the end of the third. Gives now a minute and 3 seconds of power play time for the Hurricanes to start the third period. Aho. Surveying. Now below the circle, now at the goal line. Going to take it around the net. Try to go across for Jarvis, and Dobeš might have gotten a piece of that. Best save of the night for the Canadian netminder. 40 seconds left on the power play. This one up at the point, kept in. Jarvis. Now Gostisbehere. Back for Jarvis. Over for Svechnikov. Now Ehlers with a shot. Backhand by Jarvis. Saved. And finally the Canadiens able to get it clear. 14 seconds left in the power play. $18:05 left in the period. As TNT is having malfunctions with the scoreboard. And now they're able to get it back, and we are back at full strength here. Now the Canadiens might have a 3-on-2 coming back the other way. Anderson, Josh Anderson, that is. Pass down low, but evades everybody, and the Hurricanes will pick it up. Pass across, now chipped into the zone. Noah Dobson back forward for the Canadiens. Backhands one out into the neutral zone. Picked up. Here comes Jaccob Slavin. He'll send it right back in. Past Dobeš. Lane Hudson back for it. And Kane Gooley with a turnover. Pass up top for Slavin. Down low for Jordan Staal. Staal trying to turn on Hudson. Now back up to the point. Now that one turned over. And this one sent into the Hurricane zone. Nick Suzuki chasing after it with Jalen Chatfield. Cole Caulfield back down low for Suzuki. Suzuki going to spin on Jordan Staal. Now comes back up top. Leaves it there for Jaden Struble. Struble on a tour of the zone. Set one down. Picked out of the air by Caulfield. Leaves it for Juraj Slafkovský. Slafkovský dekes around a couple of Hurricanes. Now we'll come back the other way with it. Pass in the middle, looking for either Suzuki or Caulfield. Couldn't find either of them. This one will be sent down the lake of the ice for an icing with 16:27 left in the third period. Shots are 17-5 in favor of the Hurricanes. And what a save by Jakub Dobeš on Seth Jarvis as he got the blocker on it. Faceoff will be the left of Freddie Anderson. It's won by the Hurricanes. Chipped up into the neutral zone. Now back in the Canadian zone. Mike Matheson up for Kirby Dach. Now, here comes Zach Bolduc. Cross-ice feed, looking for Dach. Frederick Anderson comes out of the net to play it. Up the wall for Seth Jarvis. Now this one rimmed back around, but nobody there in a white sweater. Mike Matheson back for it. Long indirect feed, picked off by Svechnikov. Across for Jarvis. Drop pass for Gostisbehere, and that one I think goes over the net. Don't think Dobeš ever got a piece of it. This one's sent down low. Sebastian Aho shrugs off a check. Cuts to the middle. Lets a wrist shot go in and out of the glove of Dobeš. And he'll clear it all the way down. No icing here. This one picked up and dropped back, and Shane Gostisbehere will regroup behind his net. This one chipped into the Canadian zone. Alex Carrier across to Caden Gooley. Now Alex Newhook back for it. Back up top, but unable to keep it in was Carrier. Now Newhook's going to send it right back in. Keandre Miller back out there after he took a stick to the nether region from Alexander Texier at the end of the second. Now backhand feet out in front, kept in by the Canadiens. Wrist shot from the point goes wide. Carrier across for Gooley with a shot. That goes wide. Newhook into the middle. Now a shot and a save by Anderson. And he's able to squeeze the pads with 14:28 left in the third period. Just a 6 shot on goal for the Canadiens in the game. Frederik Andersen has not had to face many shots tonight, as play has been heavily slung to one side of the ice, mostly the Canadian side. And it is in that zone right now. Shipped up Josh Anderson had 2-on-1 with Texier, but couldn't get the pass off. Now Anderson back into the zone. But now the Hurricanes will bring it out. Dobeš will leave it there for Elaine Hudson, as the former BU Terrier behind his net. Up for Cole Caulfield, former Hobie Baker winner with the Wisconsin Badgers. But he turns it over. Jordan Stahl now at the goal line. Now Juraj Slafkovský, the former number 1 overall draft pick. Cross for Hudson. Backhands one. Puck gets back into the zone. Hudson will regroup. Goes across. Keandre Miller picks off the pass. Stretch pass for Ehlers. Over for Martinook with a shot. And Dobeš will cover with 13:04 left in the period. And the Hurricanes with a 2-1 lead over the Canadiens. You're watching Game Time Voices coverage of the Eastern Conference Final. Meanwhile, in Charlotte, the Revolution down 1-0, but up a man on Charlotte FC. As that match is in the 70th minute. And the Revs trying to net an equalizer here. Get at least a point. It would be the second draw they've had on the road this year. They are 1-4-1 on the road, are the Revolution. Have used basically home at Gillette Stadium, where they got most of their wins. So very, very good bounce back year for the Revolution, especially, like I said, timing couldn't be better with World Cup fever coming out. Which, by the way, if you are heading out for World Cup events, well, more power to you. From what I've heard, ticket prices are outrageous, and travel to get there is probably even more so. As we are back in Carolina. As a shot goes just wide of Dobeš. Now pass across. Yawning cage, and Dobeš dives across to make the save. Second 10-bell save for Jakub Dobeš this period. Although, knowing my inability and the angle that we've had, that might have just hit the outside of the net. Here comes Seth Jarvis, who was robbed earlier in the period by Dobeš on a pass across. Canadiens will regroup in their own zone. Caden Gooley had an assist on the lone Canadiens goal. Now here comes Cole Caulfield back the other way. Chips it in. Frederik Andersen will glove and hold with 12:06 left. Take a look here as it was shot purposely wide. That pass across, and yes, it hit the outside of the cage as Jarvis is robbed this time by the twine for the second time this period. This postseason, 2 goals and 3 assists for Seth. Lane Hudson picks it up. Goes behind the net. Tried to sneak one out in front, gets it back. Then let a shot go, but that one ramped off a Hurricane stick and out of play. 11:55 left. It was a set face-off play. Hudson took it behind the net, stopped up, was looking for options. Then got around Martinook, and it was Jacob Slavin. Got a stick on it. So we are back underway here. This one flipped into the neutral zone. Now here come the Habs. Shot pass across, and unable to get a stick on it was Noah Dobson on a pass from Cole Caulfield. Now Suzuki. Off of Caulfield. Now Suzuki with a shot right into the breadbasket of Freddie Andersen. He'll hold with 11:31 left in the third period. Shots are 19-7 in favor of the Hurricanes. $11:31 left in the third period. Canes lead 2-1. Nikolai Ehlers with the game-winning goal right now. Face-off won by the Canadiens in the Carolina zone. As a shot saved by Andersen. And cover with 11:26 left. Sort of a turnaround shot there. I believe that was Kirby Dach. Now jostling at center ice, but nothing doing for both teams, as both teams were trying to win a puck battle and kind of just came together. Now Lane Hudson streaking down the other side with Zach Baldock, but he's able to get it. Baldock across. Matheson couldn't corral the puck, and here comes the Hurricanes back. Now a pass across for a shot saved by Dobeš as Eric Robinson, who had the first goal for the Hurricanes, stopped on the one-timer. Just a wind and a fire, and actually took a deflection off of Jaden Strubel's stick and goes over the net. So didn't even get to the net of Jakub Dobeš. Face-off won in the Canadian zone by Montreal. And Ivan Demidov streak in the zone and send it in deep. Anderson's going to cover with Demidov lurking. And Frederik Andersen's going to cover with 10:40 left in the third period. Right now, it's a 63% vote. The Hurricanes will win this series. But they dropped game one and are holding on to a lead here in game two. So that shot from the point goes wide. Keandre Miller's going to poke it out of the zone. Out. Hurricanes will send it right back into the Montreal end. Dobeš is going to leave it there for Hudson. Up for Josh Anderson, but turned over. Jackson Blake tried to feed it across, but it's poked out by Phillip Danault. Now sent right back in. Dobeš will stop it. Going to rim it around the boards. Knocked out of the air by Taylor Hall. Now Jackson Blake has it. Working against Lane Hudson. He's going to leave it there for Logan Stankoven. Now a shot. That one ramped up and hit the back glass. Now back up to the point. Shot. That one shatters the stick of Alexander Texier. He's going to have to get a new lumber. As we are just under halfway gone. Actually, just over halfway gone in the third period. Hurricanes with a 2-1 lead and outshooting the Canadiens 19-7, now 20-7 as shot came in from Shane Gostisbehere. Mike Matheson in the middle for Demidov. Nice backhand saucer pass for Alex Newhook. Newhook shot, ramped off a couple of sticks and goes off the back glass. Demidov down low for Kirby Dach. Now that shot from the point hit some players, and that one might have gotten stuck in Andrei Svechnikov's equipment. Yeah, stuck in his skates. So we get a stoppage with 8:58 left in the third period. Give us a chance to check back in Charlotte. Where the Revs are still down 1-0. But up a man thanks to a red card against Charlotte. Can they break this team down? Carlos Heel with a pass across. Now that one over the middle and just past a streaking Revolution player, but they were offside anyway. What seems to be a wet, damp night in North Carolina. The Rebs trying to salvage at least a point. As we have just hit 400 views across this stream. We currently have 4 people watching. I want to say hello, everybody. Welcome to the Game Time Voices coverage of the NHL Eastern Conference Finals. But we've had 400 views at certain points on the stream. So I want to thank you guys for choosing to spend your Saturday night with us at Game Time Voice. So we are back underway in Carolina. I should say Raleigh. With 8:37 left in the third, and the Hurricanes leading the Canadiens 2-1 as a pass in the middle and a shot just wide by Jordan Martinook. It's been basically, Hurricanes have carried the play, but they've had chances to make this a multi-goal lead and just have been unable to do it. So we come up on 8 minutes left in the third period. Shots are 20-7 in favor of the Canes. Here comes Ivan Demidov. It's been a revelation for the Canadiens in these playoffs. He will spin off a check in his own zone, but lose the puck for a moment. Now back to get it is Caden Gooley. He will move it to Alexander Carrier. Long indirect pass, but that one goes out of play with 7:31 left. Shots 20-8 in favor of the Hurricanes. Faceoff will be just in front of their bench on the far side from the camera. And faceoff controlled by Carolina. This one's sent into the Montreal end. Jakub Dobeš came out of his net to play it. Now this one will be picked up by Alexander Carrier. 3-on-2 potentially for the Canadiens. Josh Anderson cuts to the middle. Puck sitting right below the blue paint. Now a chance of Sean to score. Josh Anderson's got 2. And we are tied at 2 with 7:09 left in the third period. One of the holdovers from the last Cup final team making a difference here in Game 2 as the puck was sitting there and Anderson banked it home. Puck was just waiting for somebody to knock it in, and Anderson was the one to do it. And we got a new hockey game with 7:02 left. And under 7 minutes left now in the third period. Again, shots are 20-9 in favor of the Hurricanes. But the Habs have been opportunistic with their opportunities. Face off after an icing in the Montreal end. This one's going to get rimmed around by Noah Dobson. In the middle, picked up. Nick Suzuki has it. Potential 4-on-2 for the Habs. Matheson lets a shot go, and I think Anderson might have gotten a piece of it with his shoulder. Matheson tried to send it down low. Cole Caulfield will bring it out into the neutral zone and regroup. Suzuki back for Matheson. Habs will change some of their skaters. Matheson up for Kirby Dach. Stolen. Here comes Taylor Hall the other way. Tried to sneak one short side, but that one I think hit the outside of the net. Matheson over. Now we'll get it back. He's been out there a while. Noah Dobson will rim it around. Here comes Kirby Dach. Sends it down low for Zach Bolduc. Bolduc back for Dach, but it goes past him. And here comes Mark Jankowski. Try to send it into the middle. Picked up by Jackson Blake. Now, Dach will send it into the Carolina zone, but it goes out of play with 5:31 left in the third. As we are tied at 2, thanks to the second goal of the night by Josh Anderson. So, tied at 2 in the Eastern Conference Finals here on the Game Time Voice YouTube channel. I'm your host, Mike Walsh, and I thank you for joining me. Meanwhile, in Charlotte, Revs still down 1-0 as we head to the 88th minute. But up a man trying to find an equalizer. Can they find that? So we're now headed to the 89th minute. Revs have had 67% of the possession in this second half. But we will check back in. Then in a second, we're back live. Montreal's had 31 comeback wins this season during the regular season and the postseason. That is tied for the most in franchise history with 75-76 and 92-93. Both those years, I believe, they won the cup. Face off in the neutral zone. Sent into Carolina's end, but now back into the neutral zone. And we'll get a stoppage with 5:24 left. Shots on goal again, 22-10. In favor of Carolina. Face off, controlled, and sent into the Carolina end. Now Dobson down low for Jake Evans. Now Dobson's going to rim it back around. Over to get it. I believe that's Seth Jarvis. He's been robbed a couple times, one by Dobeš and one by the Twine. This one sent into the Carolina zone, but now back into the neutral zone. Here comes Jake Evans. Pass across. Alex Newhook almost squeaked it through Anderson. Now that one in the middle. Demidov couldn't control it. Now here comes Svechnikov back with it. Over for Jarvis. Jarvis with a shot wide. Almost squeaked right back in on Dobeš. Now Mike Matheson will control it behind the net. 4:20 left in the third period. Jakub Slafkovský backhand. I don't know if that one ever got through to Dobeš. Now battle for here in the corner. Noah Dobson tried to get up, but it's picked up by Slafkovský. Now a turnaround shot just wide by Jordan Staal. Noah Dobson tried to clear it up the boards, but he couldn't do it. Now it gets out into the neutral zone. .350 left. Here comes in the Hurricanes' end. Now they'll bring it back up into the neutral zone. Sent back in by Logan Stankoven. Tried to lay a check on Lane Hudson, who moved right out of the way. Hudson up the boards. Cole Caulfield in the middle for Suzuki, but poked off his stick. But now Cole Caulfield will bring it back in. Cross for Juraj Slafkovský. Slafkovský across, nobody there. Suzuki kept in at the point, shot through traffic. He actually hit the traffic. Now this one goes wide of Dobeš. Lane Hudson will pick it up. 3 minutes left in the third period. Tied at 2 in Carolina. Hurricanes trying to tie this series. And Montreal trying to take a 2-0 series lead before they head back up to Bell Center. This one sent into the Hurricanes' end. Now this one chipped up the wall. Here come the Hurricanes 3-on-2, but this one will be dumped in. Jordan Martinook will help it along. 6 aside. Actually, no. 3 Canadiens, 2 Hurricanes will battle for it. Now a shot from the point. Dobeš will steer to the boards, but almost steered it into the path of a Hurricane. Now Jordan Martinook will battle and get it out. Up top for Jalen Chatfield, but that one goes out of play with 2:06 left in the third period. As get a look at that one-timer from Newhook. That one almost, and I mean almost, squeaked through Anderson. And then here's this turnaround shot by Jordan Staal just past the post. Faceoffs are 21-18 in favor of the Canadiens. Now Mike Matheson. Chip it out into the neutral zone. Taken by Newhook, but that one took a deflection and goes out of play with 1:58 left in the third period. It's been a back and forth series and a back and forth game 2. But Josh Anderson's got 2 to give him 5 this postseason. .147 left. Canadiens trying to bring it in, but it's picked off, and here come the Hurricanes back the other way. William Carrier, former Stanley Cup champion with the Golden Knights. Now a shot off the side of the net by Eric Robinson. He had the first goal for the Hurricanes tonight on a tip. Now a wraparound attempt by Svechnikov, unable to get it in. Svechnikov tried a Michigan earlier in the first period. Now Eric Robinson. Back to the point, shot. Dobeš kind of just squatted. I don't know if he knew where that puck was. Keandre Miller's just going to fire that in. Dobeš comes out to play it. Moves it for Noah Dobson. Up for Jake Evans now. Alexander Carrier into the middle. Frederik Andersen comes out of his net to play it. Evans tried to stop it, but Nikolai Ehlers picks it off, but then Newhook with a nice back check picks it off from him. Send it in. This one chipped up the wall. Jordan Martinook tried to get it up, but not out. Canadiens battling for it on this near side boards. Now Demidov comes out of the pack with it. Demidov spins over for Evans. Back for Demidov. Up to the point. Shot blocked. 22 seconds left. Demidov over for Evans. Evans going to let a shot go. Got blocked. 13 seconds left. Keandre Miller will pick it up off the wall, but Masson tried to keep it alive. 4 seconds left. Now a wide angle shot, and it's stuck on the side of the net. And we will head to overtime in game 2 between the Hurricanes and the Canadiens, thanks to Josh Anderson's second goal of the night. So, in a postseason, no stranger overtime, we have one. And this to decide who has the series advantage headed back to Montreal. Based on how this game has gone, it seems right that we head to overtime. I don't know, you could have said that. I don't know really if you could have said that after game 1 when the Hurricanes came out firing and then all of a sudden gave up plenty of goals to Montreal for a 6-2 win. But here we are. So, who will be the hero between the Habs and the Canes? I'm just letting you guys know right now, I got one overtime in me. One. This goes to 2, we might be in trouble. But I will definitely be here for the first overtime. Hopefully the only overtime. We will see who's got the stones to get it going. Just a reminder for those of you new to NHL playoff hockey, that NHL playoffs, it is a full 20-minute 5-on-5 overtime period. There will be no 3-on-3 shenanigans in this one. So 5-on-5 for 20 minutes and is continuous overtime. There will be no shootout. So someone is definitively going to decide a winner. And I will be right back. Again, you are watching the NHL Eastern Conference Final. We are tied at 2 heading into overtime right here on the Game Time Boys YouTube channel. All right, and we are back with the overtime intermission. We await the start of overtime in Carolina between the Canadiens and the Hurricanes. Mike Walsh here for the Game Time Voice YouTube channel. And I want to see if I can do something for you guys. Where'd it go? As I'm going to try to do this live. So if I disappear for a sec, I do apologize, but I want to see if I can try something. As you guys are going to see something very, very interesting. So, I'm now going to copy this. Going to paste this. And you guys going to see something very, very interesting. Now, I don't know why, but for some reason. Oh, that's why. This is not going to work for me, isn't it? All right, you know what? I tried it. I was going to see if I can give you guys a... There we go. All right, now I feel like I'm all messed up here. But I was going to try to show you guys something, but apparently nobody wants to work with me. So I'll see. I just want to double check real quick. I'm showing up for you guys. I'm just making sure that we're all set to go here. There we go. A little bit mixed up, but we should be all set now. Again, I want to thank every one of you guys for joining me here on the Game Time Voice YouTube channel. We've had 466 people stop by for this conference final live stream, and it has been a pleasure to do so. And we are about 5 minutes and 20 seconds away from overtime between Montreal Canadiens and the Carolina Hurricanes. If you're just joining us, shorts will be out on Wednesday. And my video on Friday, this is confirmed. This is not me giving you false information. This is confirmed. My video on Friday will be out, and it will be me reacting to the World Cup roster for the U.S. men's national team, as we are 19 days away from the start of the World Cup and 20 days away, I believe, from the U.S. men's national team's first game. So a very, very fun time coming up. I also want to thank you guys for the love you have shown for my most recent short. So we just crossed 6,000 views on that short in 3 days. So that is by far, I don't know if that's my most viewed short, but in terms of getting to 6,000 views that quickly, is definitely on pace to be my most viewed short. So we are 2 minutes and 30 seconds away from the start of overtime. They are cranking the siren. In Carolina. I will be completely honest. The Eastern Conference Final has been way more entertaining thus far than the Western Conference Final. I don't think somebody has scored a goal in the first period in either game between the Avalanche and the Golden Knights. Actually, no, I think there was one goal scored in the first period, and it was Colorado, but that was in game 2. They did not score. Neither team scored a goal in the first period of game 1. But both teams are heading back out onto the ice, and we should be all set to go for the start of overtime in just a little bit. So we are coming up on 10 o'clock Eastern here in Massachusetts. So we got 2 goals from Josh Anderson to tie up this game at 2. And getting the scoring started for the Hurricanes was Eric Robinson and then Nikolai Ehlers. Montreal 3-2 in overtime in the postseason. Carolina a perfect 3-0. You guys came for 60 minutes of hockey, so allow us to give these next minutes of hockey to you easily. So we are underway in overtime. The puck immediately in the Montreal zone, picked up by Jordan Martinook. Goes back to the point to Jakub Slavin. Reverses it around to Andrei Svechnikov. Shot through traffic. Nobody got a stick on it. Now another one goes just wide. And the Hurricanes have come out flying in overtime. This one goes past Noah Dobson. Nikolai Ehlers is on it. Now Nick Suzuki back for it. Up for Juraj Slafkovský. Slafkovský. Gonna regroup here with Noah Dobson. Dobson. Trying to go up the wall. Ivan Demidov will chip it into the Carolina end. Goes in hard to the boards. Now here come the Hurricanes back the other way. Potential 3-on-2. Sebastian Aho across for a one-timer, and Seth Jarvis kind of fanned on it. Now this one poked in the middle, and now finally out of the Hurricanes, or I should say out of the Canadiens zone into the Hurricane zone. But now Andrei Svechnikov will bring it up. Dekes to the middle nicely. Leaves it for Aho. Sebastian Aho into the middle for Seth Jarvis for a backhand save by Dobeš. Here comes Kirby Dach. He'll spin. Actually, no, it's Jake Evans. Now Josh Anderson will send it in deep. He's got 2 goals tonight. Can he get a hat trick and an overtime winner? This one chipped out. Picked up by Jaden Struble. Anderson poked off his stick. Now this one's sent into the Montreal zone. Deflected, no icing. This one chipped up the wall. Kept in by Jackson Blake. He'll go down low for Taylor Hall. Into the middle, but it splits 2 Hurricanes. Now Lane Hudson's just going to chip it out of the zone. Back to get it is Alexander Nikishin. 25-12 shots on goal. As into the corner they go with it. Phillip Danault trying to get it out from Will Carrier. This one chipped up and backhanded in by Kirby Dach. Frederik Andersen going to try to play a long feed, and he's got Eric Robinson. Robinson looking for some support, but that one cleared. Now stretch pass here. That one turned over, and here come the Hurricanes again. Robinson down low for Jankowski. Back down low for Carrier. Carrier spin pass, but unable to get a stick out was Mark Jankowski. Now here come the Canadiens back the other way. Demidov tried to get it deep, but unable to do so. And now here come the Hurricanes back the other way with a chance, a shot, and a score! Nikolai Ehlers got 2 tonight, including an OT GWG, and we are tied at 1 in the series, heading to Bell Center in Montreal. Hurricanes came out flying in overtime, and it was back and forth for the entirety of it. And finally, a quick change and a quick up by the Hurricanes. And Nikolai Ehlers on a partial break snaps it by Jakub Dobeš. And now the Hurricanes will, with just their second win in the last 19 conference final games, will take a 1-1 series up to Bell Center. Taking a look at the play one more time, as I believe some of the Canadiens went off for a change. And then Jalen Chatfield with an indirect pass up the wall, helped along by Mark Jankowski, and Nikolai Ehlers snapped it past Dobeš. It was a nice play by Jankowski. Ehlers tapped it to himself and beat Dobeš on the blocker. It was sort of a tumbling puck. He had to chip it up to himself and snapped it underneath the blocker and over the pad, I believe. Yeah, found it right underneath the right arm of Jakub Dobeš. So, we got a series headed to one of the best arenas and atmospheres in the NHL. And you know Montreal is going to be rocking. But we will say goodnight. I want to thank you guys for joining us. Almost 500 of you joined us for a stream tonight here on the Game Time Voice YouTube channel. And I cannot thank you enough. We will definitely be doing more playoff hockey very, very soon. So stay tuned to the channel. Remember, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. We are on the road to 100 subscribers by the end of 2026. So if you have not done so already, like the video, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to say goodnight. Your final score in overtime: Hurricanes 3, Canadiens 2. This has been a presentation of the Eastern Conference Finals in the NHL here on the Game Time Voice YouTube channel. Remember, the Game Time Voice, as always, is the voice of the common sports fan. Good night, everybody.